Someone in your life has called you too much, too sensitive, too intense, too in your head, and you smiled and said nothing. But here's what they didn't know, and what you are about to find out. Every single thing they criticized about you has a name in neuroscience, and it's not a disorder, it's a configuration. Signs you're a rare type of human. Number 9, you feel other people's pain. Literally. Not metaphorically, not, wow, that sucks for them. You're watching a video where someone stubs their toe and your own foot flinches. You see someone get rejected and your chest tightens. You walk into a room and instantly register the emotional temperature like a human barometer. This is called mirror touch synesthesia, and only about 1.6% of people experience it in its full form. Your mirror neuron system is essentially overclocked. While most people simulate other people's experiences at a moderate level, your brain runs that simulation much closer to full intensity. You don't just understand empathy, you experience it as a physical event. The downside is real. Crowded places feel like emotional warfare. You leave parties drained, you cry on commercials, you've been labeled too sensitive by people who don't realize what your nervous system is doing. The upside matters. In a crisis, people feel grounded around you. They feel understood in a way they can't explain. That's not personality. That's neuroscience. Number 8, you have a voice in your head that never shuts up. And it argues with itself. Here's a fact that surprised a lot of people. Not everyone has an internal monologue. Some people think in images, some in sensations, some in loose emotional impressions. No narrator, no running commentary. But you don't just have an inner voice, you have an inner committee. One voice plans, one catastrophizes, one replays that thing you said years ago, and one stands back and asks, why are we like this? This is called meta-cognition, thinking about your own thinking. When it's intense, it's associated with higher emotional intelligence, stronger problem solving, and better long-term decisions. The catch is overthinking. You rehearse conversations that never happen, you apologize in your head to people who don't know you're upset. But that mental noise isn't random. It's your brain monitoring, simulating, and adjusting in real time. Most people are just living. You're processing living as it happens. That level of awareness is uncommon. Number 7, you get chills from music. Actual physical chills. Only about 20 to 25% of people experience Frisson, that rush of goosebumps that moves up your spine when a song hits exactly right. A choir swells, a guitar solo drops, one perfectly timed piano note lands, and your nervous system reacts like it witnessed something sacred. Researchers have found that people who experience Frisson have stronger connections between the auditory cortex and emotional processing areas of the brain. More wiring, more bandwidth between sound and feeling. You don't just hear music, you absorb it. If you've ever paused a song because it felt too beautiful to continue, that's not being dramatic, that's anatomy. Number 6, you notice things nobody asked you to notice. The slightly crooked picture frame, the conversation happening 3 tables away, the micro expression that flashed across someone's face before they said, "I'm fine." You notice everything, and it's exhausting, and you can't turn it off. This is called sensory processing sensitivity, a trait identified by psychologist Elaine Aron and found in roughly 15 to 20% of people. It's not anxiety, though it can look like it. It's not ADHD, though it can overlap. It's a nervous system tuned to pick up more signal from the environment than average. You process information deeply. You connect dots other people miss. You walk into situations and sense that something is wrong before anyone says a word. The cost is real. Overstimulation, sensory overload, needing more recovery time. But the ability is real too. You're running a higher resolution scan of reality than most people around you. Let's continue with number 5. You've already lived this moment before. Not just ordinary déjà vu, something quieter and more persistent. A low-level sense of familiarity that doesn't fade, like you've been in this room before, had this conversation before, and somehow already know how it ends. Around 60 to 70% of people experience déjà vu now and then, but a smaller group experiences it with a narrative quality. Their brains are exceptional at recognizing patterns and retrieving detailed episodes. In those moments, the mind is cross-checking the present against a massive internal archive and finding overlaps that feel impossible. Neuroscientists think this happens when the brain's familiarity signal fires a fraction of a second before the recollection system catches up. You get the feeling of knowing before you get the explanation. Conscious awareness lags behind processing. Put simply, your brain is fast, uncomfortably fast. It finishes the pattern before you consciously notice the input. That isn't a malfunction. It's a feature. A strange one, maybe, but a feature. Now, number 4. You think in systems, not stories. Most people experience life as a sequence. One thing happens, then another thing happens, then they react. You see structures, the hidden architecture underneath events. Not just that a relationship is failing, but the mechanism that keeps producing that outcome. Not just what someone is doing, but the internal logic driving their behavior. This is systems thinking. It's rare as a default setting. Most people are pattern matchers. They recognize what looks familiar. You're a pattern explainer. You want to know why the pattern exists at all. The frustrating part is that insight often arrives before language. You see it instantly, but when you try to explain it, people look at you like you've changed dialects mid-sentence. Because in a way, you have. Number 3. Being fake makes you physically uncomfortable. This isn't a preference for honesty, it's visceral, a bodily tension when you perform a version of yourself that isn't real. Small talk feels like wearing a costume. Saying, "I'm fine," when you're not, feels like a small betrayal that your body notices immediately. Psychologists describe this as high sensitivity to authenticity. People like this show stronger stress responses to internal misalignment. Their nervous systems reward congruence and punish performance. The problem is that the world runs on performance. Social scripts, polite fictions, expected roles. And you're sitting there, a human lie detector pointed inward, unable to fully participate in the theater without feeling vaguely sick. That's not a flaw. That's integrity wired into the nervous system. Number 2, your memories feel like movies you can re-enter. You don't just remember events, you remember temperature, background noise, specific smells in the air. When you recall something, you're back inside it. Your hippocampus doesn't store bullet points, it stores experiences, full sensory scenes. The gift is obvious. You carry the people you love in extraordinary detail. Moments don't disappear for you. The weight is just as real. Painful memories stay vivid too. You can't blur them out. You can't skip past them. Your brain requires real processing before it will let go. That isn't weakness. That's depth. And number 1, you watch your own life from slightly outside it. There's you in the conversation, and then there's you watching, observing, taking notes in real time. This is a cognitive style rooted in metacognition and psychological distance. It's not the clinical disorder, it's the ability to be inside an experience and outside it at the same time. It's the trait behind great writers, therapists, and strategists, people who can feel something fully without being swallowed by it. Most people are their emotions, their reactions, their impulses. You study yours. That configuration is genuinely rare. So how many of these felt familiar? More than 5? Then hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not the problem in every room where you felt out of place. You're running a version of human cognition that's uncommon, and uncommon configurations take longer to find the right context. The world wasn't built for your settings, but it has always been changed by people who share them. Don't adjust the frequency. If this helped you feel seen, pass it on. And if you want ideas that respect your intelligence, you already know where to find them. See you next time.